appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak my mind. Oh, baby, you give me ice and fire. You're chilling when the rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh,
full board meeting will be called to order. It's 3 p.m. We will take roll call. We will start with Board Member Lauren Anderson.
Here.
Board Member Whalen.
Here.
Board Member Black.
Here.
Board Member Noon. Not here. Okay. Board Member Six.
Yes.
Board Member Sovereign.
Yes.
Board Member Trey Anderson. Thank you. We have quorum. The first order of business is we will start the meeting with election of officers. The floor is now open to nominations for the office of chairman. So are there any nominations?
Before we get started, I would appreciate the election and voting take place with a full board, seeing that we have one absentee today.
Okay, with that said, then we will postpone this to the next full board meeting, which will be in 2 weeks.
That's fair.
All right, we will.
And I may not be present for that one, so I don't want this to go on too long, but you're okay to vote in my absence. I think I gave you the list of.
Okay.
Can we operationally have Chairman Anderson continue on the meetings that we don't have yet a new chair?
That is correct. The current chair will stay in place until the elections take place.
Okay, thank you.
All right, at that, Chair Anderson, please continue.
All right, then we will move to public comment. So any member of the public may address the board for up to 2 minutes on any subject that is not on today's agenda.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. I'll start with in-person public comment. At this time, I do not have any speaker slips for general public comment. If anyone wishes to make a general public comment, they may fill out a slip and bring it to me. At this time, I see no one in the audience to do so, so we will move on to virtual attendance. And at this time, I do not have any hands raised for general public comment virtually, and we did not receive any written correspondence. So at that, I'll turn it back over to you, Chair Anderson.
Okay, we'll move to the approval of the minutes from the meeting on the full board meeting on Tuesday, January 20th.
So moved.
Second.
Under discussion.
Yes.
The motion, final approval is granted with the condition that the detail of the recessed wall louver vents, I think that was the only detail that was.
On which item?
I'm sorry, the 102 De La Guerra. Was it not specifically related to that one sensitive?
Accurately. My recollection, is that they did not call out the proper details, right? They didn't have the.
For the louver, yes.
I thought there
only.
were multiple. Was it just the louver? Does anyone else?
Does anybody remember? I made the motion. I thought it was only limited to that one.
Can we look at the drawings for this, or?
No, it's not important. We could leave it the way it is.
I thought it was just that there was like incorrect references.
There wasn't.
Right. Yeah, he's thinking it's just for one detail, but I thought it was multiple. So maybe.
I thought it was. I
think it
agree.
was
Okay,
multiple.
very good. Leave it the way it is.
Okay. All right. Let's take a vote.
Thank you. I'll proceed. Let's do Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen,
Yes.
Board Member Anderson,
Yes.
Board Member Black.
I will abstain. I wasn't here.
Okay. Board Member Six.
Yes.
Board Member Sovereign.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, and then approval of the minutes from the consent meeting on January 20th.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, let's take a vote.
Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Board Member Vice Chair Whalen, excuse
Yes.
me. Board Member Anderson,
Yes.
Board Member Black,
I abstain again, please.
Board Member Six,
Yes.
Board Member Sovereign,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, and then ratification of the action taken on today's consent meeting.
I'll make a motion to ratify the actions taken at today's meeting.
Second.
Can we have them read in, the actions?
Thank you, Chair Anderson. Item A was 110 and 150 South Lacumbe Road, which received final approval with the condition that the bullet lights be cast down and the comment that the plans substantially conform to the plans that received project design approval on September 15th, 2025. Item B is 2000 De La Vina Street, which received final approval with the condition to upsize the plants as follows. And I can go through all of the plants.
That's okay.
All
not
right.
necessary.
And then item.
She can, we tortured her about that.
I made them go through each one. And then item C was 624 East Haley Street, which received project design approval and final approval with the project compatibility findings. And that was all for consent.
Okay, any discussion? There was a motion and second. Okay, let's take a vote.
I'm sorry, I did not hear the second. Okay.
Board Member Black?
Okay, thank you. Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen,
Yes.
Board Member Anderson,
Yes.
Board Member Black,
Yes.
Board Member Six,
Yes.
Board Member Sovereign,
Yes.
motion passes.
Any announcements, requests by applicants, future agenda items or appeals?
Yes, I'd like to let the staff know and the other board members, I will be away from the board for the next few meetings. That's Monday, the 16th of February, the 23rd of February, and the 2nd of March.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you, Board Member Chair Anderson. One announcement from staff is just that the regular planner for the ABR who is Will Russell, is absent today. So my name is Heidi Rydell. I'm the planner for the Historic Landmarks Commission. I'm covering today's hearing in his place.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Any subcommittee reports? Don't think we have. Okay, let's move on to item 1. This is 114 East Haley Street. It's a new item for project design approval. It's a revision to approved project plan 2024-00508 to include exterior facade alterations and the addition of 2 new hotel units on the roof level, adding 853 square feet to the previously approved hotel conversion and site improvements. The project qualifies for an exemption from further environmental review under Section 15301 and CEQA. Project design approval is requested, requires compliance with the project compatibility findings, urban design guidelines, and outdoor lighting design guidelines. Anything from staff before we get going?
No announcements
Okay.
from staff at this time.
Well, welcome. Please introduce yourselves. You'll have 15 minutes to walk us through the plans and go from there.
Thank you, Chair Anderson and board members. I'm Eric Baer with AB Design Studio, architect for the applicant.
Will Rivera, and I'm an architectural designer for the project.
Okay, so as the project was introduced, one thing worth noting is the project proposes to convert the prior office building into hotel. That has been approved by way of a prior application that did not trigger design review board. It was an interior TI essentially, and is either already issued building permit or nearing it. The application today is for exterior facade renovations to the building, so the hotel component is sort of already inherent within the project and the property. So we will present simply the exterior changes as well as the addition at the 3rd floor. Here you can see photographs of the existing building. I think most notably this photo best shows the condition of the existing building. So there's an existing 2-story stair tower, actually goes up to kind of a 3rd level doghouse at the roof. We're proposing some modifications to that. There's an existing elevator within this tower, which we're proposing to extend 1 level so that it reaches the new 3rd floor. You can see the existing 2-story structure has sort of a covered walkway at the ground floor and a covered walkway at the 2nd floor as well, with sort of an arcade. You know, the building is somewhat Spanish in style and nature, but a bit austere and simple. So by way of our application, is proposing more appropriate Santa Barbara Spanish-style architecture and aesthetics to improve the building and give the hotel more visual appeal. Remind me, what's the shortcut for zoom extent back to full screen? Does anybody recall?
Control-0.
Control-0, thank you. The proposed site plan is here. We're not proposing any changes with this application to parking or bike parking or trash enclosure or anything of that nature. That was all approved by way of the prior application. We've left reference to the approved trash enclosures and things on this drawing set. You can see that stair tower I mentioned here near Haley Street up in the top right corner. I'll move past the demo plans. You can see here the existing roof plan. This area, this footprint that's sort of cross-hatched here is the location of where we're proposing the 2 new hotel units at the roof level. You can see here the proposed stair and elevator tower. Again, the footprint remains the same. We're just raising the height. We're putting in a new stair and creating sort of an open air stair experience, which you'll see on the elevations most understandably. So here's the proposed roof level, which essentially now is also the 3rd floor for the 2 new units. The area of roof on the west wing that is not being used for the hotel units will be used as common area roof deck, along with some smaller private sort of roof deck spaces for the 2 hotel units. These walls that are pochade gray on the far left and far right side are 6-foot high fences that allow for some privacy to enter into and out of for the hotel units. It's a pedestal paver roof system for the remainder of it. We've tried to install planters along the perimeter to keep hotel guests back from the edge for safety and privacy of the neighboring properties to the west. The roof deck above the south wing we'll be using for mechanical units. They won't be visible. They're small split system units, sort of suitcase size condensers on the roof. Those won't be visible from street level. And there's also a small proposed roof deck on the southeast corner with its own staircase access. I'll let Will speak more towards the aesthetic improvements with proposed elevations. I'll speak just quickly on, again, the sort of basic project information. But here's the proposed stair tower. You can see the extension of the elevator and the overrun. We're limited to 45 feet in height, and the proposed elevator tower as an architectural feature exceeds that. But the proposed, I'm sorry, wrong button. The proposed additional units, which you'll see better on the next sheet here, are right up against that 45-foot height limit in order to get adequate ceiling height for those proposed units on the roof. You can see they're set back from the eastern edge of the west wing here, which we've represented with a lighter line weight. They're set back from the edge, as you saw in the roof plan. So again, I'll let Will take us through the elevations you can see here in our drawings, and then we've got the proposed stair and elevator tower, which I've been discussing. And then we've also got proposed site landscape plans and proposed planting plan at the roof deck. I'll go back to the elevations here, Will, for you to take us through the design objectives.
Go up to the existing to the top. So you can see that this building isn't really a very good example of Spanish architecture. It's kind of giving some hints to it. So we're just giving this building a little bit of a new life. It provides a great skeleton or bones to create a nice architectural palette that is more relevant to the Santa Barbara architecture. And so bringing it a little bit more in a romantic sense of the style. But most of the work will be definitely in the tower, but I wanted to simplify the arches and the colonnades in the front of the building. The bottom floor will be a full arch. And then the top, I wanted to do a flat with corbels on the ends. And then to warm it up a little bit, I also wanted to introduce wood railings instead of metal wrought iron railings. And so this is a detail that we were developing, and I think it's going to look really nice. It's old world 2x6, cut with the pattern that will be really nice. I am cutting the roof on the left here. It currently goes all the way to the end, but I'm trying to create a little bit more articulation in the facade and creating a nice scalloped wall detail in the stairs as you go up to, this is an existing stair, and this will go up to a smaller a deck that has probably the nicest views of the property, in the property. If you go to the tower, the front elevation of the tower, you can see what I'm trying to do is spend all my, my attention in trying to do a little bit of a nice job with this element, because this is the element that is closest to Haley Street. The portion on the left of grid line, 3 is probably, I want to say 100 yards back. It's pretty far back. So, but this is a portion that you will see as you drive down Haley. Obviously, State Street's to your right. Haley is a one-way street. So the first thing you'll see is this little tower section. And so what I wanted to do is carve out this tower to have kind of a little balcony and open up the space inside that tower. And I can talk about it more as I go into the section of that stair tower. But go down to the next page. So this is the other elevation, and if you go up to the top, you'll see the existing. And it's, trying to use this to create some kind of an interest. What I did was I copied that element, that vertical element, on grid line G, and I copied it on grid line I, and it's only an 8-inch offset on that main wall, but I think it adds a little bit of an interest. So if you go down, I popped openings into that wall as well, and it creates a nice little rhythm in the arcade. And in front of those, I'm adding a 2 to 3 foot planter so I can extend some, add some king palms. There's a group of really beautiful king palms on the entrance to the right at the stair tower, which we're trying to maintain and keep. And it kind of sets the tone for the landscape, which we'll get into later. But the overall palette for the landscaping is a little bit more, plays off of these palm trees. And so that's kind of what's going on with that elevation. The west elevation is really not much going on. There's these little patios that kind of look down into the neighbors, and all we're trying to do is add a little bit of detail, and we might have the opportunity to put some planting in between those spaces, and also above the parapet wall, on top of the parapet wall, there will be planters, high planters that will be spilling over a little bit, or at least you can see the plants coming up above the parapet wall. There's a large trellis on the back side of those units that will also be landscaped, and we'll go over that as well in the landscape plan. So go down to the stair tower, then page, yeah, so, yeah, that's fine. So that's pretty much what we're trying to do, is maintain a lot of the existing architecture. We had some issues with stormwater management, so we weren't able to do a lot of the extra roofs that we wanted to. So we're trying to maintain a lot of the existing roofs. The roof in that stair tower currently is existing, and we're just extending that, correct? And then currently there's a floor between the second floor landing and the first floor landing and second floor landing, right, yeah, underneath that, so right there. And then what we plan to do is remove that floor and open up that stair tower to create a nice void, a nice space, so that it becomes more of a beautiful walkway as you travel from the first floor all the way up to the top level. The stair tower, the floors will have to be reconfigured a little bit because they're not to code. So we're having to massage that a little bit. The overall planting plan for this site is this is a very conceptual drawing, but you can see on the upper right where we have this group of very large king palms. We're trying to maintain that. We're adding king palms, like I said there, and in front of those two vertical elements on that east elevation. And a very simple palette of different plants on the bottom there's a very, very large wall. It's up against the building next door, the platform building. And what we plan to do is use this. We have 3 very large queen palms that are existing, like right in here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add some other king palms to the left and to the right along that wall. Also, there's going to be a creeping fig along that wall, and just to kind of make it a nicer space. It's just a lot of hardscape in that parking area. We're going to also introduce some giant bird of paradises between the palm trees and some small bird of paradise shrubs down below to add some color, and very simple palette. And there's some existing agapanthus along that wall right there, and we don't really know if they're blue or white because they're not blooming right now, but we'll just add the same agapanthus that are existing, add to the palette.
So your time's up, but do you want to run through the roof real quick?
Yeah, the roof, similar. We have some on the raised planters around the perimeter. We're using bougainvilleas, and then there's mostly going to be a lot of potted plants using cordylines and some kangaroo paws, both in the red and the orange, depending on where they are. The orange ones are probably going to be up against bougainvillea, and the red will be pulled away separately. And there will be a vine going up to the backside from the wall. It could be a number of things. We have suggested something there, but I could see using also a potato vine that would be grow up against the wall and fill that whole trellis. So that's kind of a overall landscape plan that we have.
Thank you, board members. That completes our presentation.
Great, thank you. We will open up public comment for item number 1.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. I'll start with in-person public comment. At this time, I do not have any slips for this particular item, and there is no one in the audience to make a comment on this. I will turn my attention to virtual attendance, and at this time, I have no hands raised for virtual comment on this project, and we did not receive any written correspondence, so I'll turn it back over to you, Chair Anderson.
Okay, we'll close public comment and go to questions from the board. Board Member Black, do you want to start?
Just one thing that came to mind, in that planter in the parking lot where you show the giant bird, how wide is that planter?
It's about 2 to 3 feet currently. It's right there.
This one here.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's about 2 to 3 feet
okay.
wide.
That's going to be a big plant for such a small space, just so you're aware.
Yeah,
I know, it gets really big. I mean,
yeah, they get big.
so you might want to find something that's upright that can handle a small
We
space.
might focus it more on like the finger areas.
Yeah.
So they have a little bit more depth, like those 3 spots, the trash enclosure, in the middle of the parking lot, and then on the end. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because they can get, well, you know how big they can get.
Really big.
I have one in my yard that's 15 by 15, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, just so you're aware. No other questions?
Board Member Soffren?
Yeah, can you can you take me to your proposed east elevation? If we could like zoom in. Yeah, so you've got that bump out that you've got. There's that existing one that you want to modify on the left there. The one on the right, is there a drafting error here, or it just sort of, it looks like, are the bump outs the same width, but what happens is you can see how you've got the one on the right touches the sides of the arches, whereas the one on the left.
It's not a drafting error, it's just the way the geometry is on the existing building. It's unfortunate. I think the one on the left looks better. That's the way it is. But if you look at the existing building, just scroll up to the top, you can see that that's just the way it is. So I wanted to maintain the same width as the vertical element on the left. And I think if I made it smaller, it would draw more attention to it.
Okay. And I guess it would probably be, was it your south no, which elevation's the one that's got the elevator tower?
The north elevation on the Haley Street?
Yeah. So have you seen any examples of this sort of scoop out that you've done? Are there,
Well, the courthouse has one, but there's a column in the middle of it. I am trying to do something a little bit more whimsical, and yeah, it's probably, I probably have not, to be honest, seen any of that, but I think it'd be kind of a cool little detail.
okay. And for any of this project, like the hotel rooms up on the roof, I see that you're adding some more definition to the building, making it more interesting. Can you just kind of speak a little bit to sort of the decadence of these units up on the roof? There's a lot going on up there.
Okay, well, we wanted to kind of simplify it, so we have a flat roof. The views are amazing to, towards the east, looking at the mountains, so, very large glazing out there. And this is probably the most articulated elevation. And the other elevations are very simple, flat roof, very small amount of use of Spanish tile. And I think it complements the existing building with what we're doing, and also just kind of simplifies it and not brings a lot of attention to it.
And then, so looking at the west elevation, there's just those little windows that are up high, right? That's
Yeah, those are above the kitchen
okay.
and the bedroom.
All right, those are.
windows.
One last question. I'm sorry. So if I got this right, you're gonna basically do this, and the roof is not used as a roof deck presently.
It is.
But,
No, not presently is not.
so it will be a roof deck, and the general population of the building will have access to that area?
The hotel guests.
The hotel guests, gotcha. And are there any concerns about like sound? Like I'm sorry, I'm not familiar. Like what are the neighbors on the north side, sort of?
They appear to be
Or on the west
mostly
side.
rental properties. I think this one up at Haley Street's commercial, and there's some rental residential units behind it.
Okay.
The nature of the existing structure, it's got these second-story decks that the prior office tenants would use, and then up at the third floor, the roof deck's pulled back about 5 feet, as you can see. So the guests won't have ability to get right up to the edge.
So there'd still be some privacy maintained
much as
for
we could, yeah.
the adjacent neighbors. Okay. All right, those are all my questions.
We've tried to locate the kind of the communal areas of the roof deck more on the east side, facing the parking lot and our property, and the west side is, as you can see, mostly circulation here to enter the units and kind of pass by the units to these other communal spaces beyond. But most of the communal kind of hangout spaces are all here along the east edge.
Board Member Anderson?
Okay, since we're on the sheet, can you pan up and zoom in on that drawing number 2? Yep. So is this is the true amount of depth from the curb of the street to the rear building facade, correct?
That's correct, and that's where the mechanical units are located on that south building. We've done our sightline diagrams from the north side of the street so as to get as far away as possible. And you can see these small condensers are still well below the sight line there.
Okay. And can you flip to the photos of the context at the beginning, please? So let's look at Haley Street. I want to see the street experience. There we go. And then kind of what's on either side of it too. I did glance at these before, but I just want to.
Yeah, here's that large bare wall that Will mentioned on the east side. See if we can see.
And the actual facade of those adjacent buildings.
You can sort of see it here. That's to the west. Let me see if we've got a better one on the next page.
Oh yeah, I'm curious. So what is that
The
on that?
platform building to the east.
On the building to the west? What's going on there?
That one.
So there's some kind of diamond-shaped tile. Pan over, zoom in. Your
Oh, I see,
your
yeah.
adjacent building, yeah, because that's where your
Yeah.
tower looks out at. So I'm just curious so that's what we're looking at. And what's the material on that?
I don't know.
Okay. It's block? Okay. Painted block. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. So in terms of site experience, circulation, street frontage, so you've got 188 feet of parking lot, basically, right? Yeah, let's look at the site plan. So how do you imagine this building functioning in terms of the experience of this one walks down the street or arrives in the building?
For the hotel guests, certainly, it's one-way parking, so it's in here, it's out at the east side. They'd find their parking spot and be able to, the hotel, the operator manages all this with online bookings and touch code entries, so there's not necessarily a lobby or sort of entry space. You're assigned your room number and you'd park and find it and enter yourself. So that's sort of operationally how it works. I mean, experientially, as Will mentioned, as you're either driving on Haley or walking on the sidewalk, certainly this north end of the building will be what garners the most attention with the stair tower and the elevator and sort of the north end of this west wing of the building. I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Kind of. Can we look at the section on the stair tower? All right. My first question is, so what is the head height? I didn't see that on your elevations, but maybe it's in here. On the top of the stone on the bay, there we go, right there. What's that?
8 feet 4.
8'4", okay. And so, I guess, how do you see this balcony really functioning to serve a public experience? Because this is all serving,
The balcony is actually existing. What we're doing is we're adding to it and making it more of a statement. We're extending the length of it. And so I'm just playing off what is there currently.
I don't think it's going to be a space many people occupy. It's going to be something you'd experience as you go up and down the stair. Maybe somebody steps out there to take a phone call or something, but it's mostly just an experience for the hotel guests as they're in this stairwell staircase.
Got it. And then if you pan up, what is in the space just up above? It's like a plenum space at the very top of the tower where the beam is, what's going on up in there? It's just attic
That's just
space?
the elevator shaft.
Here's the elevator,
Oh,
so
that's
that's
a-
the hoist
yeah.
beam and the overrun for the elevator.
Oh, it's just the overrun.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then, and then there's some transitional covered spaces here as you would exit out onto the roof deck or to the second floor covered walkway. Same with the
Alright.
first level.
Okay, I think that's all my questions. Thanks.
Board Member Six?
Thank you, Chair Anderson. Yeah, let's stay on this tower. So, your hoist beam is the minimum height for operational? That's where it's set?
We believe so at this time, yes.
And then you need overrun space above that, correct? But do you need the space to the right of it?
Well,
Can the width of the tower be the exact footprint of the existing elevator shaft?
the elevator shaft itself, we're not increasing the perimeter size of it. It's the same shaft. It's just going up one more floor. So that, the overall perimeter of that tower is, we're not changing. It's existing.
Could you reduce the width of that tower at the third floor?
We
to
could.
the-
I think it's
to the
something Will and I
minimum?
studied early on. We like having the covered space as a vestibule at the elevator, so if there is weather elements, you're not entering right out of the elevator into the elements. Also, I think proportionately, having that be much smaller felt a little too petite up at that height.
So, can you go to the east elevation and zoom in, right there? So you can see what I did is I added a little kind of turret next,
Yes.
on top of that. And that's to get a little bit of head height and, some articulation on that facade to make it interesting when the roofs come together. Just a straight shed roof is not a pretty solution. So I have that little turret goes all the way back. And then if you go to the stair tower section, again, you can see the outline of that little turret beyond. And that's that's kind of how it plays into the rest of the architecture.
Okay. If we go to the side elevation with the tower, yes, that one, can we zoom in on the tower there? So that turret, the smaller turret, acts as, on the left-hand side of that is the doorway to the open-air stair, correct?
It is mostly what it does is it's an element that allows the roof to die into, and it's a playful forms just coming together to kind of create something interesting, and so that's kind of what's
Okay.
going on there.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. So the new stone on the bottom of this tower, is it impeding the opportunity for ground planting around that tower? What is your existing width of your planter there, and
There's
what does,
existing
what does
planter there.
the,
I'm proposing to putting a rock, stone veneer
Veneer? Mhm.
underneath that and put as much planting as there's room to put there.
But it won't significantly reduce the depth and planting
Yes.
opportunities, correct?
Right, so
Okay.
I'm trying to do a stone veneer. Ideally, it would be nice if I can, slope that a little bit to make it more interesting,
Okay.
but
Did we review the lighting at the last juncture here? Was it developed, the amount of lighting, and did you have a luminary photo
We don't have a photometric
We don't.
plan.
metrics? No, you never.
the lighting plan was approved with the last
Okay.
submission. We're not really
So we don't need,
changing,
we don't
we're
need.
changing the light fixtures, but in terms of the amount of light fixtures, where they are, that's really not being
Okay,
proposed to change at this point.
all right. I think those are my questions. Thank you.
Vice Chair Whalen?
Thank you, Chair Anderson. First, I'm going to veer out of our lane of consultation, right? Fasten your seatbelt. You have any idea when this was originally built?
We do, I don't have it committed to memory. We have the archive plans.
Looks like 70s.
There was, originally the west building was built as a single-story structure, and then when they added the south building, they added a second floor on top of the west building, and I can't remember.
So it
the
has a
dates.
couple of iterations, so we might safely assume that its identity is changing yet again?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. See, that wasn't much of a swerve, but let's see. And I'm going to rely on staff and our other board members. The properties to the west, didn't we recently review a project, a housing project that was going to abut that wall?
I don't know if it was right next to this one, but there is
But
on the other
portions
street.
of it
Yeah.
came back to it. All right.
Yes, I think.
And then, how deep are the protrusions at the G and H line? Didn't you say 8 inches
8
or
inches.
so? Okay.
Existing 8 inches,
that
I'm
in
just going to
mind.
match that.
And
So you
then,
can see it there,
oh, yeah,
and there
that's
isn't one on
proposed.
the other side.
Correct. Well,
Right.
sorry, this is existing, but
Yeah.
And then,
The other thing I didn't mention was, in all those arches, I am currently 6 inches. I'm going to thicken them up to like 10 or 12 inches.
all the rest of the arches.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah. And then at the second floor at the west, how deep are those balconies?
They're like 10 feet
10 feet?
back
and
from
that-
the property line.
From the property line, and the building does
And the
sit on the
building,
property
correct.
line? Okay, it's about 10 feet. And then, is there any reduction in the number of parking spaces?
not as part of this application, no.
So that remains. And then the wall of mystery on the east side, that belongs to the adjacent parcel, right? That's not really
Correct.
yours. And are there any trees that are going to be removed from the parking lot now?
We're thinking about it. There's some, I think they're called Brisbane box trees in the center. Or no, those are called liquid ambers. And then what we'd like to do is replace them with the Brisbane box tree. There's a really beautiful one in the front right there.
Yeah.
And I think that makes a better canopy tree, parking lot tree than what's existing. So that would be our recommendation.
Okay, and then wrapping up here, what is going on? Is it just purely mechanical that's going on the third floor on that, what are you calling it, the
South building.
south building? Yes. it's-
Yes.
Primarily-
all of those are mechanical things of one sort or another.
With the exception of the small roof deck for the hotel guests that are way over here on the east end, we have a small, more private roof deck there.
Thank you.
Which you can see.
And those are all of my questions.
Okay, I just had a few follow-up on materiality. Are you replacing all the roofing that's there? Or are
We're
you
keeping,
just adding?
we're keeping the roofing that we can. We're not really replacing anything. Obviously, we're adding roof to the stair tower, and that's probably the only,
Are you thinking the two-piece mission tile?
Yeah.
Okay. And then for the door and windows that you're replacing, are you guys doing steel or aluminum?
It'll probably be aluminum. We've done several projects with this hotelier. It's aluminum made to look steel like the Arcadia custom product.
Okay. And then you guys briefly touched, but no site lighting, correct?
None
In this
proposed currently.
one, yeah. And then your gutters, are you thinking copper, or what are you guys thinking, metal?
well, if we do exposed gutters, they will be copper, of course, but a lot of, where we can, we would like to put them
Internalize.
into the walls, but,
Got it, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any other follow-up questions?
I just have one question. Just about like that balcony and the lower level again, just sort of curious. Have you guys had, just kind of curious, like are you concerned about security at all down there? Just because I know that like across the street it could be a little bit rough. Right there, you've got the halfway
Yeah,
house.
the property has a full fence that was existing, and we were allowed to maintain it along the parking lot, along with vehicular gates. So the whole Haley side is fenced.
Okay.
That balcony, it's an interesting question. At 8 feet 4 up, we hadn't really considered it too much of a safety concern.
Put some spiky plants in
Right.
front of it.
One more follow-up.
Yeah.
Could you go to your east elevation of your building, including the tower? Yes. Can we zoom up on the tower? The sloping roof coming off of your minor turret, that is as low as it can go with the relationship with the last landing of your stair?
At the far right edge.
Yeah.
That's existing, so we've
Oh,
left
it
that
is.
as existing here.
Okay.
And then you can see the existing
extending
above. We're
it.
extending it upward as the stair follows, but existing to remain.
So it's
at that
pretty
leading
close
edge.
to
Mhm.
minimum head height, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well, let's move into comments. They're here for project design approval. So, Board Member Black, comments?
Well, I think it's a nice project, certainly going to be an improvement over what's there now, so I think it's ready for PDA myself.
Okay. Board Member Soffern?
I think it's great to see projects like this come to like a street like that in Haley. I think it's an improvement on the street. I really have a lot of apprehension about the arch or like this carve out that you have on that face right there. So that from everything else I'm fine with, but that would give me reason to not want to approve this project.
Board Member Anderson?
Okay, my comments are, if we think about what we're looking at here, this is an elevator tower primarily, and the elevator was a modern form of circulation, but yet this tower looks like it's something from like Alhambra, so there is a kind of uncanny quality to the architecture here where we can't quite place what time we're looking at here, and I find it kind of surreal. It feels kind of like a stage set to me, and I think that is definitely going to be the case in terms of one's experience of this building, because that parking lot is so deep. And if I think about a Mediterranean-style building and the courtyard being central to one's experience of the space, here we kind of don't. It's not. This project doesn't really seem to be very much about the courtyard. It's kind of more about this tower, which is kind of like this architectural folly. If you think of that scoop out, what it's like to be on that, it's kind of just looking down at the gas meter bollards. So in terms of one's experience of the space, I think there's some kind of odd things going on here. And in terms of the context too, I don't see this building really dialoguing at all with the context. We looked at some of the photos. The facade immediately adjacent to this tower off grid line 1 is an abstract textile block wall, mid-century building, and the other building on the other side seemed to have some sort of wood. Also a more contemporary expression. I don't see a lot of interest or curiosity about the context in this, and I also think that in terms of walking by this building, the height of that plinth for the that tower where the stone comes up 8'4" is going to feel like you don't really have a lot of street front engagement. It's going to feel like looking at like the Pope's Tower or something. So I think, yeah, I don't really get it, and I think it's kind of a very surreal project. Thanks.
Board Member Six?
Yes, I think it's a handsome project. I do have, and it was kind of a prelude of my questions, I think there's a lot of, especially when we look at the east elevation, I think there's, the tower can be whittled way down. Can you switch to the east elevation on the tower? So when you really look at that in comparison with the units on the rooftop, I understand that the elevator has a certain headroom and so forth over run or whatever, but I think you can do a lot. The minor tower, the turret could be much further down and settle in with the height of the just above the door that's required to get out onto the roof. As again, I think that you can minimize the tower width and the elevator tower width and breadth to reduce its girth. I think the tower can have a lot of whittling to get it within scope of what's necessary and not be so heavy and top-heavy and tall. I think that you don't, if you look on your elevations of your west elevations of your landscape plan, I think. Yeah. Where did I see those? There are some lower roofs on the balconies on the west elevation that you have included plantings on that lower roof. Where did I see that? Go to your east elevation. Yeah, so you don't need those. Those are going to be very difficult to maintain and so forth, and I don't think they're doing you anything. It's very important to have the ones up on the roof, of course, but these down at the lower roof above the balconies, I don't think you're just creating a difficult problem maintenance-wise. Okay. So I think. If we go back to the east elevation, I think if we blow that up, I think you can scoot over to your left. I think you can add another half module of these apartment arches over there in your open deck area to provide, even very covered, protected, or even enclosed public meeting space just left of column line F that would really, make it's hard to get people to push up into these roof places without adequate protection, and I think that it would. I don't have any problem with adding another mass there that either open air again or enclosed that would have a super amenity to the guest below. So I think it's a good project. I just really, I don't think I can support it if there is no willingness to reduce the height of and mass of the upper portions of the tower.
Vice Chair Whalen?
Thank you, Chair Anderson. First of all, I want to thank you for a very thorough presentation and appropriate imagery to that of Santa Barbara. I especially appreciate the hand drawing. Is that you, Mr. Rivera? It's really nice to see hand drawing in today's world of presentations. Harkens back to our own training when we were told to spread the lead.
The old days.
Yeah, the old days, the good old days. Let's see, to be more specific, the arches at G and H these are essentially becoming buttresses, that imagery. And as such, I think you could reduce the size of the openings at both the first and second floor to make them, and maybe perhaps even the height a little bit to make them read more like buttresses. The wood railings, I think I heard you say square. You might throw in a few turned baluster to accentuate the imagery that I think you're going after. And to that circulation tower, and there is, Mr. Sofrin, I can think of a carved out arch like that. It's on Coast Village Road. It's that Italian fascist white building that's behind, and it does have those, and it looks clunky. It doesn't look appropriate at all. So I would go back to the courthouse and study putting in a column there, or simply dispensing with the idea. But it doesn't really read with the rest of the composition that you're working after. And as we see here on that, on both the images, I'm wondering if that lantern on the corner, again, if I think about the county courthouse, the Hall of Records, it's a very modest lantern that's there, not a great big huge one. Now this one may be used as a wayfinder, a signifier, but somehow it just doesn't read as balanced with that carved out corner. Let's see. To the courtyard, and this is where I would agree with Member Anderson, it is out of context, but I'm going to veer away from his comment. I think what you've designed here is a respite from that industrial world that surrounds it, and I would encourage you to develop that more, especially the parking lot, seeing that it doesn't have a lobby, doesn't have formal visitor spaces. What you're really going to rely on as an introduction and as a mood character is a rich planting of a parking lot and developing it less as a parking lot with sort of menial gestures of planting strips and more about a lush garden, which is really what Santa Barbara imaging is all about. You might accomplish that in a couple of ways. If you look at parking space 11, you've carved out a corner there, which can become that and the one below it, rather than slavishly angling all the parking lots. Perhaps you could get more plantings in those interstitial spaces, especially at the islands. And I think it's going to be a special challenge against that blank wall. I would check with whoever owns that wall before I put clingy vines on it. But you could disguise it with giant bird of paradise in enlarged planters, because those suckers really get big. But some other palms that might do well, or other planting materials there. But as such, I don't think it's ready for project design approval, specifically less about the architecture and more about the landscaping of this parking lot. And you might even consider building a wall along Haley Street to really identify this space as different from the neighborhood around it. think that's all of my comments. Thank you.
Do you happen to have a picture of the existing fence along Haley? That I did not see.
Let's see. Here. There's actually limitations. That was something with planning that we had to negotiate on in order to maintain the existing fence, given its height. I believe at the property line, we're not allowed to exceed 3 feet 6 in height, which the solid wall is below that, and then we were able to maintain the existing iron fence above that.
Is there a gate there or no?
There is a sliding vehicular gate on
Okay,
both
got
the
it.
in and the out, yes.
Got it.
Well, my comments on the project, I think it's a really nice project. I think it's nice for Haley. I don't have as many specific comments or harsh reactions like the rest of the board on some of the detailing. I enjoy the whimsical parts. I enjoy the trying to bring something different to the location. So I don't really have any comments towards saying no to project design approval. So I will let someone else make a motion.
I have an additional comment. I think there was some discussion about compatibility with the neighborhood. And when we have an eclectic neighborhood, you know, the thing we like to see is the default to traditional Spanish. So I'm very pleased and congratulate you on that effort.
Who would like to make a motion?
Seems like there was a lot of conversation. Could I throw out the idea, do we want to do like, first off, a straw vote on where everyone's leaning? And then if that's the case, should we take a tally of the comments? Because there was a long list of comments.
Yeah, I think it was like 4-2, but we can take a straw vote on, I guess, can we take a straw vote on who would support project design approval at this time?
I'm not sure if that question was to.
Yeah,
me or
it's
Jenny,
for
but-
her to take roll call. Let's to take roll call,
Absolutely.
please.
Okay. Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen,
No.
Board Member Anderson,
No.
Board Member Black,
Yes.
Board Member Six,
No.
Board Member Sovereign.
No.
Okay, so can someone make a motion for continuance back to the full board with the comments?
I'll make a motion for indefinite continuance for the applicant to review the, the following comments. That the north facade of the elevator tower be re-examined. This scoop sort of arch seems out of character, out of place. So a study surrounding, in general, study surrounding properties, projects to come back with evidence to support some of the architectural decisions that you would like to apply to this project. To evaluate the height of the tower to see if the height and the width of the tower can be reduced in scale and mass. There's comment on evaluating the landscaping in the parking lot to try and improve the planning designation. There's specifically the birds of paradise on the eastern side of the parking lot, and potentially some sort of screening we're talking about from the street, and just sort of the planters, what's going on at the planter boxes in the parking lot, and sort of that how that impacts the flow. To evaluate expanding or creating maybe some more coverage on the south side of the roof deck, south of the southern hotel unit that would be added to the roof deck. To explored the light fixture, the prominent light fixture that's on the north facade of the tower. That's sort of that calling light. Is there anything else anyone feels that was missed?
Right. Re-examine the buttresses at lines G and H to reflect a more architectonic character that is reducing the size of the openings and perhaps their height.
Joni, you got that? Okay. Richard, do you have something else you want to add?
No, I could, I like your motion. I think that we should have another vote. I don't mind the scoop. And I think it's, it's fun. Maybe we should vote on that or make a straw on that.
Well, I think his motion included like examples of it, right?
Yeah, I think if there could just be a study done to come back and support it and say we've got some examples and then Trey, did you have something you wanted to add?
Well, I had a lot of comments that weren't necessarily included, but that's all right. I do want to kind of go with the flow and take a temperature on the collective board. One thing I did relate to is Board Member Whalen's comments on the sense of this being somewhere that people could come to that's different than the context of an industrial area, and the garden being central to this place and region, but also in this project.
But let's be specific to clear direction.
I think that the parking lot courtyard shouldn't look and feel like a parking lot.
Okay. So maybe study that parking lot so it feels less like a parking lot and more like a courtyard that kind of rolls in. Anything else?
Well, I personally feel that the tower is too tall on street level for the stone because in terms of street front experience, I think that should be looked at.
So please study the height of the stone on the north side of the tower, the elevator tower. And I think that gets us everything for this. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Would you guys consider adding to provide an actual planting plan? I think that would be helpful
Yeah, I would agree.
when you come back for project design approval to help the board with that. Okay, let's take a vote.
Chair Anderson,
No.
Vice Chair Whalen,
Yes.
Board Member Anderson,
Yes.
Board Member Black,
Yes, I'll go along.
Board Member Six.
Yes.
Board Member Sovereign,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, board members.
Tell us about your no.
Oh, I said no because I felt like it deserved project design approval today. Okay, so we will adjourn our meeting for today. Thank you.